The general strike in Oakland, and we have live pictures of what it looks like at the port. Let's show those as I describe this to you. Is proving to be a pivotal moment in the Occupy movement, but a march around Wall Street today could prove ultimately to be just as significant as this action in Oakland you're seeing live, not because of its size, but because of who the marchers are. In our fourth story, veterans of all generations as well as active service members marched on the sidewalks of Lower Manhattan today to honor one of their own, led by a friend of Scott Olson and Navy vet Josh Shepard, who joins me presently. In response to Iraq veteran Olson's injury, around 100 members of the military massed in New York's Financial District this afternoon to show that they too are the 99%. After marching to the Stock Exchange, the protesters held a moment of silence to honor Marine and Iraq vet Scott Olson, and then it was time for the veterans to step up to the proverbial people's mic.
I'm a two-time Iraq War veteran.
I'm a two-time Iraq War veteran.
And this is the only occupation.
And this is the only occupation.
I believe it. I am a veteran, and I am the 99%.
My friend Scott was injured last Tuesday.
My friend Scott was injured last Tuesday.
This is unacceptable. My friend Scott was utilizing his freedom of speech.
His freedom of speech.
And that is exactly what they took from him. We are veterans.
We are veterans.
We are the 99%.
We are the 99%.
On the same day, America's bravest marched as members of the Occupy movement. Mayor Bloomberg of New York decided it was a good opportunity to once again paint the protesters as no good troublemakers, saying at an event today, this isn't an occupation of Wall Street, it's an occupation of a growing, vibrant residential neighborhood in Lower Manhattan, and it's really hurting small businesses and families. The mayor's comment is for out-of-towners and easily frightened children. Zuccotti Park is catty-corner to the World Trade Center site. The number of residents within sight of the Occupy headquarters might be as few as 20 or 25. As mentioned, joining me now, Navy veteran, friend of Scott Olson, Josh Shepard. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
We heard from his roommate, Keith Shannon, that he's in rehab and he's said a few words. What do you know about how he is and how he's responding to all that's happened since his injury?
Well, we just got a text from him a couple hours ago. If you'd like, I'd
Please
read it.
Absolutely.
So he says, "What kind of pie?" and which goes along, Occupy.
Okay.
I see the success there. Keep it up. Nonviolent in the face of police brutality.
So obviously that's great news, and it indicates, among other things, that he's coherent. He's just having trouble talking. That's the gist of this at this point?
Yes.
Great. What would he think as we look at the pictures from Oakland and thousands now of people in absolute apparent concord, if you will, with all the people on the docks and at the port, and no reports of trouble, interaction with the police? There's some random breakage of windows, but we don't know how much that's connected to what's going on there. But this kind of event would have been probably thought unlikely at best 2 weeks ago before what happened to him. Absolutely.
I'm sure he's enthralled.
The idea of you being here today, explain how that happened and why it was important for you.
It materialized after there was just this collective rage from veterans expressed, through various media outlets, online, blog posts, photos, etc. And so the mood struck, and Iraq Veterans Against the War was instrumental in coordinating this action and getting veterans out to New York, to Wall Street, to lend our support with our voices.
Did the police act differently than you've experienced previously because you were in uniform?
Well, that's interesting you ask. In New York, or in Oakland rather, I expected the police to act differently because I was in uniform at that point as well, as was Scott. You know, he had uniform items on. Right. We're standing there with the Veterans for Peace flag. That didn't stop the police in Oakland. However, here in New York, everything went off without a hitch. We were able to march right up to the Stock Exchange, which is, the international center of economic might. So the police were very accommodating, and there were no negative interactions. I couldn't have asked for a better activity.
When, apart from what happened in Oakland, despite the fact that you were in uniform, when you hear people who are critical of Occupy say that those aren't real servicemen, those have to be guys who just bought stuff at Army Navy stores, how does that make you feel about the rights that you fought to protect in this country?
Well, they're free to say that, but it's insulting a little bit. But I think it's very easy to say. I you know, I hate to generalize, but I'm sure a lot of the people that are just spewing this stuff have not served. And, you know, like now our numbers are getting stronger and stronger as veterans lending our voices to the movement. It's harder and harder to deny.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think it's impressive that the first thing you said was that you're protecting their rights, too. I didn't expect that answer. It's a very good answer. Last point, the issues that face young veterans have gotten almost no attention since the Iraq War began, certainly, and the actions in Afghanistan. Do you see an opportunity here for these specific issues, the poor conditions at VA hospitals, the overwhelming spread of undiagnosed PTSD, and all the other problems? You know them better than I do, and you can enumerate them better than I can. Do you see an opportunity in this for these issues to really come to the forefront?
Absolutely, and you know, it's interesting that this opportunity has arisen because it was something that Scott was incredibly passionate about, and you know, just a couple weeks prior to his injury, he was out at Fleet Week San Francisco with us, outreaching for these very same issues. So we're bringing attention to the fact that we're losing 18 veterans a day to suicide. We're 1 in 3 female veterans or female military members will experience sexual assault while they're in the service. These are astronomical figures that, you know, the general public would be horrified to know, but they get no attention.
And here's another venue in which they might get that. Josh Shepard of Occupy San Francisco and today of Occupy Wall Street. Great thanks for some of your time, obviously for your service, and give your friend Scott our best.
Thanks so much.